Have you ever tried using AI for your brand, but what comes out sounds, well, like a generic, soulless robot? Today, we're going to break down a system that's designed to fix that for good. It's called the Voice Clone Codex. Now, the promise here is huge, but it's also really simple. To turn ChatGPT into your brain's best ghostwriter. And I'm not just talking about some simple little assistant. We're talking about a true extension of your own mind. And let's be real for a second. If you've ever used AI for writing, you know that cringeworthy moment when it spits something out that sounds like a totally bored robot. I mean, it's competent, I guess, but it's so generic and just completely forgettable.
Look, this isn't just you messing up a prompt. It's a really fundamental issue with how most people use AI. It leads to what we can call the generic AI problem.
This problem, it shows up in a few pretty fatal ways. First, you get the vanilla vocabulary glitch, where the AI just overuses words like leverage and delve and unlock. Then there's the perspective vacuum, where the writing has absolutely no unique opinion on anything. But the worst of all, that's the cognitive void. It's like the lights are on, but nobody's home. The AI is just mimicking a style with zero actual substance behind it. And here's the brutal truth, and this comes from a forensic audit of these kinds of systems. When you feed AI your kind of generic corporate-style writing, it doesn't clone you. No, it clones a middle manager. It clones a mask you wear to work, not the actual person with all the brilliant ideas. But the problem runs even deeper than just getting bad output. The real trap for so many experts, so many creators, is this paradox that stops them dead in their tracks before they even start. So here's the fatal flaw in most, if not all, voice cloning systems. They're all built on that old principle of garbage in, garbage out. They make this huge assumption that you already have a massive library of amazing, voice-perfect content ready to feed them. And this creates what's known as the cold start problem. I mean, what if you're a consultant who's only written stiff corporate memos for the last 15 years? Or what if you're just starting out and you haven't even found your voice yet? You can't just extract a voice that you haven't fully developed. And this is the barrier that stops most people cold. And this is where the Voice Clone Codex just flips the entire script. It doesn't focus on fixing the output problem. It goes back and it solves the input problem first. The core idea here is, honestly, revolutionary. For anyone who's facing that cold start problem, the solution isn't to try and extract a voice from a pile of old, mediocre writing. No, the solution is to manufacture a new, authentic one right from scratch. So how does it do that? With a module inside called Chain Zero, the provocateur. Instead of asking you about your writing style, it comes at you. It interrogates you with these high-stakes questions, like this one. It might ask you to pick a side, say hustle culture versus work-life balance. And then it says, okay, now tell me why the other side is dangerous. You literally can't write a boring corporate memo in response to a question like that. The whole process is designed to be provocative. See, it interrogates you with these kinds of binary questions to force a visceral, emotional reaction out of you. Your real opinions, your passion, maybe even your anger. And then, from that raw material, the AI helps define your authentic voice, completely bypassing writer's block. It's designed to turn a cold start into a hot start, instantly. But listen, this isn't just one clever trick. It's actually part of a complete self-correcting system that's designed to produce relentless authenticity. For example, the system just throws out all those subjective quality checks. The old smart intern test was totally flawed because the AI was basically grading its own homework. This system replaces it with something called the un-Googleable experience test. It's a simple binary check. Is this advice already on page 1 of Google? Does it have a specific name or a date or a personal story that only you could tell? The question completely stops being, is this good? And it becomes, is this yours? And this is where you see the real genius of the system. It's not about policing your grammar, it's about a cognitive density scorecard. It measures what actually matters for real thought leadership, things like the vulnerability ratio. It tracks how often you admit to a failure, which turns you into a guide, not some untouchable guru. Or contrarian density, which measures how often you challenge the common myths in your industry. It literally gamifies the substance and the courage of your ideas. So ultimately, the entire system is engineered to bridge this gap from what we call sonic DNA, which is just sounding like you, to cognitive DNA. It actually trains the AI to not just mimic your style, but to replicate your thought process, your arguments, and your unique way of seeing the world. Okay, but does it actually work? Well, an independent forensic audit came in and tore apart every single piece of its logic. And the result? The system didn't just pass, it earned a perfect 10 out of 10. And that brings us to the value of this system and, an offer that frankly seems almost too good to be true.
The auditors, they made one thing crystal clear. This is not another PDF with a list of prompts that you could just go find on Twitter. No, it's a complete self-correcting logic engine. It's a workflow that actually acts like a human editor, challenging your logic and auditing your own uniqueness.
And that led the auditors to a pretty shocking conclusion about the price. One of them put it perfectly. He said, if I see a Ferrari for sale for $500, I assume the engine is missing, right? So when you see a perfect 10 out of 10 system priced like this, you gotta wonder, how long can that possibly last? So the choice is pretty clear. You can go and hire a prompt engineer for thousands and thousands of dollars to try and build something like this from scratch, or you can get this entire proven self-correcting logic engine right now. It's the difference between buying the ingredients and just hiring the master chef. Look, this isn't just about writing faster. It's about finally unlocking the ability to scale your unique thinking and your authentic voice. If you're ready to stop sounding like a generic AI and start sounding like you at scale, then this is the system you need. Go ahead and click the link and get the Voice Clone Codex now.